say my name 3 times. Yeah!
Beetlejuice.
Attention, Kmart shoppers. Come on a little closer. Step right up. Sandworms. You hate them, right? I hate them myself. Nice model.
Want a cigarette?
Oh, no, thank you.
I'm trying to cut down myself.
Learn to throw your voice for your friend's fun party.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah, here I come, baby.
I would rather talk about
It's cute, Delia.
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime. You know why? Because if I tell you, you tell your friends are calling me on the horn all the time. I got to show up at shopping centers for openings and sign autographs and shit like that, and it makes my life a hell, okay? A living hell.
Oh god, that is hilarious.
That was a good looking game.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. How you going, guys? Guys, Don.
Yes, that's me. I was waiting for the audience to respond. No, it's phenomenal, man. I'm still trying to recover from the midnight launch of this fantastic game. I've seen that trailer about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it.
It's you never get sick of it. I've watched it a lot of times. I've showed it to a lot of people, and he's extremely captivating, man. Really captivating. Well done to the boys that Flipping Out.
They know how to make a trailer, man.
They do. I mean, they've been doing it for a while now, right? So,
and I think because I have my finger on the pulse, this game is generating some interest among buyers. It may be a strong seller. That's
it may be. I reckon they'll sell out probably. Who knows?
Let's not get ahead of
ourselves. We know it's sold out. This is like what is it? We are Tuesday in Perth. We are Monday in America. Fun times. I wanted to get you on the channel because obviously you were involved. You had the midnight launch. Gonzo did a video about his thoughts very quickly after the trailer dropped. I haven't done mine. It's been a bit hectic. I just got back from Melbourne Expo. I'm still recovering, even though it's 3 hours time difference. But you know what expos are like, man. You stand for like 12 hours a day. You talk a lot. It is tiring. So anyway, we are here. Let's deep dive into it. Man, what a ride, eh?
Right? Can you believe it?
What a ride. So we all knew it was Beetlejuice. Franchi let the cat out of the bag. Apparently it was his fault. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's blame him anyway, because you can't hate Franchi. Even if you did wrong, he's such a lovable character that you can't really hate him anyway. So like we knew it was coming. It hit. And it was everything that we knew it was going to be. Typical Spooky, knocked it out of the park with theme integration, a relatively safe, approachable layout, as some people have said, and we'll touch on that in a second. But jam-packed with toys, mechs, sculpts, fantastic modes, multiple shots out of one shot, which I really like, which we'll touch on, and a midnight launch, which it has nostalgic elements to when we would queue up at EB Games or what you guys call GameStop to take in a game that was being dropped that day and get in early for the experience. And man, I think it is a fucking fantastic idea. I think you knocked it out of the park. And I really think that you purely did it just so you could wear a guide hat.
I mean, yeah, it came with its fringe benefits. I mean, like, I don't know. I had this idea. We knew this game was coming. I want to try to think of something fun for the community, as a way to launch it. I like these media events and things that companies are starting to do now. And my hope was that
Yeah.
they could build enough that you could actually have like a public media day. Because everybody wants to go to these things. Everybody wants to get involved. How can we grow them? And so
Yeah.
nobody has done a midnight launch like when we were lined up at GameStop or Best Buy or Bunnings for the sausage sizzle or whatever. Um, so it makes no sense, of course, because pinball machines aren't ready on launch day typically to take home with you. But just like maybe we can get like 5 of us to just gather in a parking lot in the middle of a cornfield in the middle of Wisconsin and just put in deposits for a game and get excited about it. And it turns out that other people were interested too. I was expecting 5 to 10 people. I got 90 emails for 20 spots in 90 seconds after going live for it. It was a free event that you could come to, and then it guaranteed you a spot to just walk up like an adult and just put in your deposit and not have to worry about the stress of trying to get in last minute or wishing you were on a distributor list 6 months ago, like I told you to be. I saw the game. I
We
told
all
you
did.
get on a list for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people listened, but ultimately there's only 1,000 games, 1079 with show games, and there's probably 3 to 5,000 people that want it. So what do you do? I'm open to suggestions, but this was fun. This was really fun.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting thing because seeing all the pushback from people that were missed out, and obviously it's disappointing for them that they've missed out. I mean, people have been told for a long time to get on a list, to kind of all of a sudden not be able to get one, and then critique the way it was handled, or complain that they couldn't get through on the phones, or complain that they missed out and now the game doesn't meet their expectations. It's a little bit unfair, I think, and we'll touch on that in a second. But yeah, man, look, I think it was a great way of doing it. Did you find that, like, how many did you have in you bought 20, but then did you invite some other people along that weren't going to order a game?
Yeah, some people had some plus ones. I had some local friends that wanted to attend and got permission. And then as soon as they found out that we had burritos at the house, just all the spookies showed up. So I had like 50, 60 people in my house at one point. There was a school bus out front for some reason. People were showing up and just bringing games and setting them up inside. We had an ABBA, we had an America's Most Haunted, we had half of my collection downstairs. And then it was just shuttling back and forth between the theater to show people the trailer, small groups to go get some time on the game, and then just a big party near midnight at the actual factory with a 20-foot inflatable Beetlejuice, pizza, tender. A lot of people showed up, still hadn't played Evil Dead yet. We had those set up at the factory to play, and it was just like it was madness across 3 campuses.
Yeah, look, I think it was great, and I think it's only going to get better. There's no doubt you guys will do it again, and I'm sure other companies will probably start doing it. Because it's I think one of the things Spookies really excels at is their interaction with the community. Bug has always been really interactive with the community. Spooky Luke as well, maybe not as much as Bug, but they're there. They communicate. They talk to everybody. They're on socials, and I think that's one of the things that makes buyers feel like they're part of the family. And now they got you there as well, and you obviously do podcasting and. Whether that's going to change or not, because you probably can't shill as much as you used to, I guess. But it's a real captivating experience because it's a company that is it's a family-run business, but we all feel part of that family, right? And that's all part of the experience. And I think that's what makes them the pinball company at the moment in the world. Because as much as I got my hands on Harry Potter. Just on the weekend, I finally got to play it, and for me, that game is phenomenal. And if I had to pick, if I could only have one, and it was Evil Dead and Harry Potter, the only reason I would choose Harry Potter is because of theme, because I'm just not that into horror gore, right? But they both do theme integration so well, captivating modes. They're jam packed with the fucking assets and all that type of stuff, right? And you got 2 companies that really have people there that just absolutely love what they're doing. Eric knocked it out of the park with Harry Potter. The boys at Spooky fucking shot it to the moon with what they've done in that game. But it's been interesting. I want to touch on some of the stuff, like my thoughts on the layout at first. I was hoping for like some cool ball paths and interesting, like unique stuff like TCM had and Looney Tunes.
Mhm.
I understand why, and especially when you're trying to pump out games like 1,000 in a year, you need something that's going to be easy to build, easy to tweak, easy to manage. I understand that part of it. I'm not saying that is the reason why, but they've gone to a very similar fan layout to Evil Dead, right? Safe to say. But those shots, you could do more with them, right? And some of those shots have other elements to those, which we'll touch on now, which is, in my opinion, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Even though it's a very similar layout in relation to the fan, I hate using the word fan layout because everyone's going to say everything's a fan layout, right? But
like there's fans and there's fans, right? I mean, we just
yeah,
got Fall of the Empire, which is a classic, just fan, like 7-8 shots
yep,
or so, just everything's equidistant. I think of games like Elvira's House of Horrors, where there's just kind of it's almost symmetrical right down the middle.
mm,
There's
mm,
shots on either side, and not that that's a bad approach if it fits the theme and everything. I think of Beetlejuice, if you started with a fan and then stretched it and then
yep,
put for play area up here and then orbit madness over here, it doesn't strike me as like a finish. I mean, every game's going to have shots from the flippers in some
yeah.
sort of array, right? But the fact that the upper flipper is back there, I think would disqualify it. But at this point, everything's a fan. It's just the meme. So
Yeah, look, and that's a fair comment, and I think that's why I was going to go on the fact that I think when those shots end up going somewhere and there's something else to do, technically you're not really a fan layout because it's not coming around the orbit back, right? It's stopping somewhere and something else is happening and it's going somewhere else, right? Even the full right orbit does something completely different, So I think you automatically, and when you can kind of hit a stand-up target, lock a ball, and then hit that stand-up target to knock that ball, like with that awesome mode with the strength test,
sure.
right? Like that's fantastic. You're taking one shot, you've turned it into 3 shots
Yeah, and
in
that's
theory, right?
innovation, but not at the sake of making like a clunky layout. We want
Yeah,
innovation in pinball, but you don't necessarily get the best return on investment or bang for the buck by messing around with what has worked or what's worked
yeah,
before. You can come up with some kind of crazy ball path, but if it's clunky to shoot, you're not going to get much from that. If you
yeah.
can, if you can stick with a layout that's fun, first off, everybody's going to like it. That's just the
Yeah.
truth. But then you can use that creativity and that innovation by doing different things with each shot, doing things we haven't
Mm,
seen with magnets before, doing things we haven't seen with diverters, and make them fun. Dress
yeah.
up what would otherwise be kind of a boring metal ramp and have it interactive. Keep the pace of the game going, and then use the code to bring innovation. And I think you see like the best reception from games that do that.
Can you see my cursor here on the
Absolutely, you're
playfield?
cursing all over the place.
I'm cursing all over the place. The one shot that I really, really cannot wait to hit is the one that leaves this right flipper and it goes the left orbit and then it comes around the pops and then swings around the back of the waiting area and comes up to this flipper, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got your own little playfield that technically is not an upper playfield. It's not a lower playfield. It's a little bit like the danger room, where it's its own little pinball area, right? That to me has so much kinetic, like watching Pete Bug or whoever's playing on this stream hit those shots, because you can just see there's some speed there, there's some satisfaction. There's that one that I really, really like. There is the shot that is the spinner into the scoop, and then it jumps out at you and then basically hits the spinner from behind. That's what she said. And that must feel satisfying, right?
Yeah, because when you rip that spinner enough to carry it all the way to that scoop, that spinner's still going in that direction. And then when the ball
Mm,
launches back out, it's hitting that counter rotating spinner with full force from a scoop eject. And then it's just going
yep.
to rip the other way. So it's like a double rip whenever you can get it. And it's
And
nice.
that's a
Here's the
powerful
subtle
scoop.
piece of the innovation with that shot. That ramp that's right there on the left, that's got a ball guide that the ball can kind of hug, and that will aim it directly through those pop bumpers. So it's
Yeah.
not, a shot that you can only hit 2 out of 10 times. I mean, a fair
And that's what I was gonna ask you. There must be something here that's helping that ball because man, that's an impressive scoop eject coming out of there. Like there's some power coming out of that scoop at the back.
It makes you feel awesome when you hit it too.
Oh yeah, you could see like even in the stream play, like in the gameplay, the fact that the way it comes so perfectly straight, you know it's going to be satisfying when that shot hits and when you hit it. So I'm really looking forward to that. The camera shot, which is the one right here, which is you load the camera and then that's very similar to Evil Dead, where you load one bullet, load the second bullet, and then you hit. Do you have to hit these at the same time as well?
No, you generally. I don't know if the code will develop that, but
Yeah.
for now it's usually one or the other that's lit, and you hear the audio cue of the battery charging or the flash charging, and then that tells you that hurry up is active, and it usually coincides with the ball returning to a flipper, so you can just go ahead and go right up there. It's a great use of an audio cue to know that there's a hurry up right there.
Yeah, look, I think it's a very, very cool little toy or mechanism, I should say. I want to touch on something that's just about to happen. I think I went back a little bit too fast. While we're waiting for that, I do love next to the camera, there's obviously the scoop. There's another scoop. There's like 3 scoops in this game. And that is a scoop that you can hit from the front and the back.
Yeah, so your favorite shot there on that left orbit, you have to remember to drop that flipper before the ball gets up there. Otherwise, it's going right in there under the flipper.
Yeah, so you can hold this upper flipper, the third flipper, and then you can sneak it in, right? Sneak it in. I've been sneaking it in all my life, Don. You can sneak it into the back. That's pretty cool. Well, I just want to quickly show you this, right? I'm going to play some sound. This has to be a first in pinball, and I really fucking love this, right? So what I'm going to show you is that you've just drained your balls. That's what he said. And then you get your bonus total. And what it's actually doing is the playfield goes pitch black, right? And it gives you a full instant replay of all the shots you hit, right? To show you where you collected everything. And it does like this recap of here, what's that show? Here's Your Life, where it shows you everything. Look at this. So bonus, and it's lighting every shot that Bug hit. Every mech, every toy, slings. That's instant replay. There's a big bonus. I chose the biggest bonus.
The one that goes on for a while, yeah.
Right? Now that's some impressive stuff. I mean, that to me is a pinball moment. If I haven't seen one, and you're not even playing, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that to me has to be a first. I don't know of any other game that does that. And that's some impressive coding too, because that's moving fast.
Yeah. And I mean, it's recording in real time every shot you're making and then playing it back.
Yeah. I noticed that in the gameplay, and I was like, hold on a second. I went back in the bonus, and I was like, that's showing me all the shots that we've made. Which, look, I thought that was an extremely awesome way of showing something unique off. We'll move on to, we've got the 3 stand-up targets, very similar to your Avatar and Evil Dead and all that had that. You drop that down and you can either get the sandworm into the mouth or there's just some little stand-up targets right at the back under the sandworm's nipples, and you can hit that. That's a satisfying toy. I mean, some people have compared it to like your Dungeons and Dragon. I love the way that interacts and moves. Some people have critiqued the fact that it dances because it didn't dance in the movie. But I love that every mech in that mode is dancing in the game, or you have to get those possessed in the Deo mode, right?
The movie didn't have pop bumpers either, so I don't know.
The movie didn't have pop bumpers. You're right, man. It looks like an impressive sculpt, eh? Mm-hmm. And it's massive too.
It is massive. It's another thing that does multiple things too. And you don't necessarily have to hit every single drop target just to drop it, because it'll
Yeah.
come in different modes and things. And oftentimes I'm just trying to hit the orbits and the ramps and having fun with that. I've inadvertently hit it enough times that then it becomes into play, or Deo
Yeah.
starts or something. But it's fun because you don't have to just wait until the head is in the right position to smash it. It's not like a one-trick pony like the Jaws shark, where when it comes up, you bash it, it goes away. This thing you can bash, you can shoot through its mouth, and when it's up out of the way, you can shoot underneath it to access those targets that are back there.
And look, I think it was obviously the showpiece and the star of the game is that Sandworm, because of the fact that here's the classic. I was going to touch on this, and I'll just quickly show this now. Actually, yeah, I just think it's such an awesome mech, and what's a Beetlejuice game without a Sandworm? Let's put it that way. So just quickly, we're trying to hit the Showtime multi-ball here. Right orbit starts Showtime multi-ball. Another great pinball moment. He's struggling to get it into the orbit. There you go. The game dies,
Help them, please.
which I think is fantastic.
Sure.
Creating
I can help.
suspense.
You gotta help me.
Can you say this at any speed, Don?
Beetlejuice.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Come up different ways.
I know Bug's
Beetlejuice.
trying to show a bit of like suspense and stuff, but
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime. Attention, Kmart shoppers.
there's such an iconic scene from the movie as well, right? So anyway, we got distracted. So Sandworm, cool mech. Then we've got this right ramp, right? Now this right ramp, again, is this classic example that you can take one shot and you can do multiple things with it. So we can hit that right ramp and it'll come down this wire form, right? Touching on the wire forms, I love the fact that Spooky powder coat their wire forms different colors. Huge kudos for that. Or that ramp goes up and you can hit the other ramp that's behind. We've got like ramp inception happening here.
That's the rampception ramp, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's in itself. I mean, you've basically created there's two stackable ramps. Again, I don't know if I've seen that in a pinball game. Mind you, my knowledge of pinball games isn't the best, but that's the first thing I noticed. I was like, how cool is that? It was a ramp, and the ball just went behind the ramp and got another ramp. How's that feel to hit?
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen transforming shots like this before. I mean, Evil Dead had a lift ramp that went to a scoop to start modes. Oktoberfest hid that awesome roller coaster ramp above a flap, so you had an orbit or whatever.
Haven't played it.
Drop. But yeah, this first time I think we've got like stacked ramps like that.
Yeah,
The 180 ramp is easy to hit. It's not steep like some 180 ramps I've played, but it's a very shallow ramp that's underneath it. That when the lock is ready, that's what feeds balls to the wire form going to the couch. And that one is backhandable even. So the shot gets even easier to hit up there once it lifts up.
Yeah, look, I think that's great. And then obviously we've got this shot here where Beetlejuice sculpt is, where we can hit it. You can then hit it again and lock a ball behind a stand-up. And then you can hit it again, which will shoot the ball around and then do a mode, which we spoke about earlier, which is like a strength test, like you used to play at the carnival and hit it and see if you could hit the dong at the top. That is a fantastic, and the fact that Beetlejuice grabs the ball and shoots it from his crutch with a really fast. I see that comes out of his chest quite quickly.
There's a hidden plunger that's up there, so the ball raises up with the mech with the sculpt on a magnet, and then the plunger knocks it straight down the wire form.
Yeah, so cool. Then we got a captive ball. Like I'm going to try and get one of the things that a lot of people criticized, right, is that the game's too bright and too dark. And what I say to those people is the camera makes it look worse than what it actually is. So the game is nowhere near as bright as what you're seeing on camera. And that's been verified by Kerry Hardy, and Don himself has said this as well. And when it's pitch black, it's not really pitch black. The camera just doesn't do it justice. But we got a captive ball right here, right? Which again is multiple shots, and you can I don't remember what the captive ball is used for. Do you recall I know it's
I
quite
can't
early
even, I
code.
can't even remember. So I'm not like, up till now, like I played the game several times, but I've never been able to
Yeah.
capture footage of it that I can then disseminate later. And I can't come home and like refer back to photos because I don't have any. So all of my gameplay is like me just standing in front of the game. So I'm still learning all the rules and modes and things myself.
Yeah.
Not to mention every time I show up,
I don't
there's
remember it.
an update.
What's that? Sorry.
Not to mention every time I show up, there's been another huge code update.
Yeah, we'll work that out. That will come to me. I can't remember. But then there's another scoop there. So the game is just packed with stuff that is interactive multiple times. There's a lot of things to hit at. The shots all seem very makeable, and as Kerry Hardy likes to say, very approachable. And the obvious thing I didn't talk about, which is the way that you start the game. This has to be the first game where you plunge a ball and you drain it for the magnet to catch it, for it to chuck it back in the game. And I'll tell you what, if someone wants to learn how to make a magnet that chucks a ball, they need to take lessons from Spooky, because that thing like goes to the moon and back, right?
Yeah, and this was the first time I had played the game. They didn't give me a whole lot of overview. They're just like, here it is, go play it. And of course, I hit the launch button, and my ball immediately drains. And I'm like, "The hell did you guys do?" And then boom, gets caught on the magnet and thrown up there. And I'm like, "Oh, that was awesome."
Yeah,
And
here we go. It's going to do it now.
skill shot seems to delay a bit on that bridge out, so it's probably going to happen to a lot of people the first time they play this. Their ball will immediately drain, and they're going to be like, "Well, what's going on? I just waited a half hour in line to play this." And then their ball is going to get grabbed and thrown back up, and they're going to be on board.
Yeah. So, like, everyone has seen the footage. We don't have to keep showing it to you, but I just wanted to quickly recap for those that didn't pay attention to the stream and didn't know what those shots did. Man, it is theme integrated like you wouldn't believe. I love Beetlejuice. I haven't watched it for a long time, but as a film that I remember seeing as a kid, they showed it again at my cinema. There was a special version of it. I don't remember why it got re-shown a few years later. But there are elements of that film that are just so nostalgic, and you will always remember or be able to quote. And what a theme! And to think a company passed on Beetlejuice just blows my mind. But when a boutique company can pick it up and jam pack with like 3 flippers, 3 pop bumpers, 5 sculpts, I think there's like 5 mechs. Getting all the songs, getting all the assets.
I mean, each scoop has lighting now too. Like they're still innovating and iterating.
The light show, the scoops
done.
You
can talk to it now.
Yep, Spooky Speak. We'll get there in a second. And the fact that like we got a game that there are no callouts. Everything has come from the film. This film's got so much content in it that, ironically, a lot of the actual movie speaking dialogue is the word I was looking for, can be used in pinball, right? I know they have got someone that did callouts, but they've actually turned it off in the settings because it actually gets you away from the theme.
The way they used audio cues seems to work. Like when the camera shot's ready, you hear it charging. Like that's your cue. That's much better than a disembodied voice saying like, "Camera, hurry up, get it."
Yeah.
And they did have kind of a spooky voice narrator for this game. It was kind of goofy. Like for this one, it just didn't fit. They turned it off, and the game just got way better.
Yeah, look, I think it works well. There's only certain games you could do it, and I think this is one of them. Works really well. I want to touch on the artwork, mate. If you can't, I mean, we've got to give a shout out to Franchi. Franchi is just doing God's work. I'm a huge Franchi fan. I think he's the best pinball artist in the world, in my opinion. There's a way that he does faces and images and all that. There was a lot of negative comments about the fact, and again, it was probably people that missed out or they just hate the fact that they're getting so much attention. But the negative comments were that a lot of people felt that Franchi's artwork is repetitive, is the same color palette, and he uses, like, for instance, let's use the snake Beetlejuice, multiple areas on the game and the playfield, right? And that there's AI. Now, my comments to those are these, right? And I'm going to shut all those down right now because I get fucking really heated with shit like this because people just are so ignorant that, Franchi did Batman 66 and like Monster, the one that you like. What's it called?
Monsters. Yeah.
Monsters. I was going to say Monsters, but it's Monsters, right? back then there was no AI, right? So what's he doing? What was he doing back then that he's doing now? Right? That's number one. And number two, you look at like you could pause clips from Evil Dead, right, and look at the artwork he's done. There's people are going, oh, it's all traced. It's not. They're completely different. Like if it was traced, it'd be identical, right? And it would look like it was photoshopped. And there's, you can't critique him for like anything he's done because I think the work he's doing is just creating art, but taking a machine that is basically sits there when it's not on, right, and becomes a big piece of equipment that is in your living room, but turns it into a standalone piece of artwork. And I don't really care what anyone says. He's the best in the world that does that job. You got other pinball artists like Zombie Yeti and Brad Albright. I mean, Brad Albright's new on the scene and he's killing it, right? But there's a style of franchise like, comic art, it can get tiring after a while. Like, I'm a huge fan of the X-Men art. I'm a huge fan of the Godzilla art. I'm a huge fan of the Turtle art, right? But there's a style that has repetition. Franchise, even though Franchise's style of art is very similar throughout all these games, they don't look all the same, right? Because it's not comic art. Comic art is very different, right? And don't get me wrong, I still love comic art, but it is much harder, in my opinion, to do what he's doing with the faces, the detail, the repetition of stuff on like being on the side of the cabinet and then being on the side of the head box and then being on the playfield and then being on the fucking back box. I mean, and like,
I've walked up this game multiple times. I remember the first time I saw it. I remember the last time I saw it. And not once has it occurred to me, there's one too many snakes on here. Like, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, but Don, the thing is, dude, is you're never going to be able to look at all of it at the same time. It's impossible, right? Like, you might be able to look at the playfield, but then you don't see the head box and you don't see the side, right? Or you're looking at the coin door and all you're going to see is the coin door and your crotch. You're not going to see anything else. So I don't understand this, like, oh, there's too much of the same. Like, yeah, I mean, Turtles has got 4 turtles, right? I want to see those turtles on all sides of the fucking cabinet. I don't want to see them just on like one side only.
Right, yeah. And, if you go back to what this thing is, it's you're supposed to be a commercial machine in an arcade. That art is supposed to be there to draw you over and get your quarters in that machine. So, like, from every angle, you want to see what that IP is, You don't want to have a bad side.
And I feel for artists, people like Franchi, Zombie Yeti, Brad Albright, because now, unfortunately, we live in the world that they're always going to get accused of using AI, even if they have or haven't, right? And even if they want to use AI, they're well entitled. I mean, I use AI on my work. It doesn't make you any less of an artist. I think it just depends on how you're using it. But I feel for them because it's just they're automatically getting put into that category of, well, you're not really an artist anymore because you can just get someone to do all of it for you, especially after the whole Harry Potter saga, right? That just really cemented the fact that AI is being used in pinball because before that, I don't think anyone really thought about that, right?
Right.
So
I'm thinking about Harry Potter for that. If it's really low effort to do this, then why aren't more people doing it?
You took the words out of my mouth, mate. Yep.
Where is it? Where's the other franchise? Like, where are realistic human faces with contrasting color pops and like a color temperature that you don't even realize you're seeing? Because it's just everything's popping there. I'm trying to use artist terms. I'm not an artist, but that's what I notice. Is there'll be, if I look at something like Evil Dead, yes, it's got a lot of greens and purples, but there'll be like a flash of like some reds or some hot pinks or something just to highlight and pop. I see that used in the tattoo world to really pop out darker colors.
Yeah, but I mean, colors on pinballs are always going to be based on the theme, and there was criticism on Franchi's. Franchi did a little sample art of Batman '89 for when Stern was potentially going to be looking at doing an '89, and in the end they went '66. That it was way too purple, and it's like, well, hold on a second. Batman with Michael Keaton was predominantly a movie about the Joker, who is purple, right? And we're highlighting the fact that we want these things to pop. Like, I've got Batman '89, and it's just black. The whole thing's black, It's just a bit of yellow on it, and I would kill for to have purple and like greens and neon noir and like purple powder coating. There is colors being used because of the fact those themes have those colors really work with those themes. Evil Dead and Beetlejuice are very similar in color palette. That's just because the movies are that very similar. That's all. If the next movie is I don't know. I don't want to say a movie that I think you guys are doing next because then it kind of like makes it awkward. But if it was like
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest, that would be purple as well, mate. Unfortunately, I think purple, blue. If it was Highlander would be like black, blue, red. What else? I got a Highlander poster here that I haven't framed yet. There you go, like red, blue, black, red, blue. And like a little bit of brown, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just the idea that he's just using repetition in colors is just so ignorant because it's like, well, look at the theme, right? Look at the theme. It's just anyway. I get really defensive of Franchi, so he's my homeboy, and I've got a Franchi slap shirt that I couldn't find that I wanted to wear tonight. I'll wear it on Monday.
To actually see this machine in person and tell me you don't love it.
Yeah, mate. It's everything always looks better in person. I think even with the critique that people have criticized The Walking Dead on, I think people need to chill out a little bit and just wait till you see it in person. It might not be for you, and I think that the Playfield on that is a little bit over the top. I still prefer it over the old colors or the old cabinet, but you got to see it in person because even like King Kong, right? Like I criticized King Kong's color palette when it came out, right? I was like, man, that's like a lot of pink, purple. But when it came, it wasn't as bad. Like, it was not as bad. I think the camera adds 10 extra pounds, right? So, obviously, it's adding
pounds of saturation.
10 extra shades. Yeah, it's adding 10 extra pounds of saturation. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think people need to just shut the hell up and wait till you see it in person. But, yeah, man, I was very envious of you guys. I really wanted to. I know you extended an invitation, said come. But, it's not across the pond, unfortunately. It's well across the pond. But look, if anyone was going to knock this game out of the park, it was Spooky. And I think with the call-outs, the music, the modes, the animations, some people always say that Spooky have a style of animation that kind of is not, I don't want to say on the cheap, but it kind of looks a little bit gimmicky, but that's their thing. Like, I like that. It's not meant to look realistic. It's meant to kind of look a little bit not cheesy because that sounds negative, but you know what I mean? Like, their animations look a certain style, which is their style, and I really like that. Right? I think you can tell that's a Spooky game because their animations are kind of,
and I think they level up with each title too. Like the team just keeps getting better. Yeah, so comparing animations from Halloween to now, like they're radically different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, worlds apart. And the business is always going to evolve. I mean, if it's not learning from its previous errors, mistakes, or just recommendations from other people, you're not doing something right. And I think even from their reliability, QC from 10 years ago to now, I mean, I've had Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, Evil Dead, never had a problem with any of them. So again, this critique that there's people have been, oh, what's it going to be like? It's like, well, man, like those games get smashed and I've never had a problem with them, right? So not that machines are man-made, things can go wrong. I'm not going to say they're not going to, but I can tell you what's going to happen if something does go wrong is that Morgan, right, who is doing God's work, is a gem and a huge asset to the business because she will get back to you very promptly, sometimes even on Saturdays. I'm not going to say she does Saturdays because that's going to throw her under the bus, but sometimes she has, right? And, their customer service is, again, why you feel like you're part of the family. And my hat goes off to them. And I think, honestly, that 1,000 game is the sweet spot because as soon as you start doing 3,000 to 5,000 games, Morgan's not going to be able to get back to you as promptly. Mm-hmm. Or the queue, games are going to have to start getting pushed out faster. That's the nature of going bigger, right? And the problem that some companies have had because they've gone so big, you've got to pump them out. And what happens when you got to pump them out, right? You force it. You like what's the saying in Australia? We have a saying that if you force a fart, you get shit,
Oh,
right?
yeah. My grandmother told me that when I was a toddler. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry guys, this isn't a PG channel. But do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that you got to find that
quality
happy.
for speed. You know, you gotta pull the time or the money from somewhere. You know, if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, people wanted more games. They went 1,000 more than the last run. And they even pumped out some extra show games for people too, which people are still mad about. But I think they're kind of doing all they can. Distributors started taking money early on. That was kind of a distributor decision. We'll see what happens with that going forward. But I think ultimately, when you're only making 1,000 quality games and you've got 3 times that of interest that wants it, there's people are going to be upset no matter how you do it. And so trying to just navigate like what's the best way to do this.
Yeah. And look, and I think again, when you've got a company that is really, driven by people that are family based and interacting with the community and in the forefront of not hiding behind a corporate shell or, not liking to just, there are smaller companies out there that just those people that work there don't like to be in front of a camera, and that's okay, right? But I think sometimes when you are so in the forefront like Buggies and Luke, you tend to be people think they can be more vocal because they know that those guys are watching or kind of reading comments as well. So someone that's missed out on a game knows they can say something harsh because they know that it's going to get read. But you're talking about 2 guys that are like, you watch that little mini documentary that was like 20 minutes that Flippin' Out did, and they interview both Luke and Bug. And you can see you got 2 guys there that are wearing their heart in their sleeves. They genuinely are not working. Like those guys don't have a job. Like they are just building home brews that they can sell, right? Like it is literally 2 guys that wear their heart in their sleeves. They're down to earth. They're very level-headed, very what's the word I'm looking for? I can think of it in Italian, but I can't think of it in English. Very kind of grateful and very
Humble, pragmatic. I feel like
humble's the word. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, we got to be we got to take them down a notch here, or they'll
Well,
be.
Yeah, I know everyone's going to say I'm shilling the fuck out of them, but I am. Look, I'm going to give credit where credit's due, mate. Like they are, if not the best pinball company in the world. And I would say JJP is up there with them because after Harry Potter, I played. You will see my video on Harry Potter, man. I played ball 1, and I had to step back because I really love that theme. I think it's a fantastic theme, and I watched it as a kid at the movies, the books. I replayed my ball 1 and I stepped back going, what the hell just happened? Like, what have I just experienced? Like, the ball was coming out of even my orifice. Like, I was like, there's so many ball paths. What the hell is going on? Right. And at one point, I shot the right orbit on Harry Potter and it's come around so fast. Like, I'd love to know the record, like the Guinness Book of Record for the fastest ball path. That right orbit where it comes all the way around and then just hits your left flipper and you didn't even notice and you drain the ball. Like that just caught me off guard. I was like, that has to be the fastest shot in pinball history. Like for what they're doing, they're knocking out of the park as well. And it's a great time to be in pinball. Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody will celebrate a great game, no matter what company it comes from. And every time a great game is released, I hope it pushes the other companies that much harder to try to top it. Because
I would like to think that Spooky is where they are today because of Galactic Tank Force.
Galactic Tank Force walked so Beetlejuice could run.
Mate, I love Galactic Tank Force. I'm going to do a video just on Galactic Tank Force, so we'll get to that another day. But hey, you never know. Maybe that's what happened. In those like Marvel movies when something happened in the timeline and it branched off.
The butterfly effect, yeah. Maybe there's a little bit of Galactic Tank Force in all of us.
That is one sexual innuendo. I like it.
Fudge.
But maybe there is. Your reaction on like watching people play Beetlejuice for the first time, like it must have been pretty cool to be able to see everyone's faces. And
that was wild, because I knew I liked it. I knew what I felt about it, but I couldn't tell anybody. And then all of a sudden the curtain lifts and I'm showing people the trailer for the first time and I'm watching their faces, jaws on the floor. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like they're super excited. And then the next minute I take them over to the factory. I'm like, there it is. Go. Like that's Beetlejuice. Go play it. You can play it right now. And, they're just having a blast on it. They come back thinking like this exceeded my expectations. And this game was hyped to the 11th degree too. We were telling everybody early on, get on a list. You're going to want what you see. You're going to wish you were there. And then I'm thinking, are we building it up too much? And, everybody has a concept in their head of what they're going to see. And then when it exceeds even that, you've got, a good game that you've made.
Yeah, and look, I'll give kudos where kudos is due. I mean, Canada 6 months ago didn't know anything about this game, didn't even know, hadn't even seen it. He didn't have insider info like you and Kerry had, and he was telling people to get on the list because he's like, it's Beetlejuice. If anyone's going to knock it out of the park, it's Spooky, right? And I even said to people after experiencing Evil Dead back in July, get on the list. Like just get on the list for like whatever else is coming, because Kerry and yourself have said that you think this is great. Wait till you see the next 3 games.
Just get a subscription right now if you can.
Just get a subscription.
Your opportunity. So when you see the trailer, you can say yay or nay. Like that's the position you want to be in. And
let me ask you something, right? And I don't want you to answer this because you're like involved. I want you to answer this as a fan, right? The fact that obviously they've sold, how many games did they keep for themselves to sell on the phone? 70 or something?
About 70, yeah.
Right. Do they need the distributors? Because they're giving away a couple $1 million on the table, right?
Right. So I mean, that's all. That's a question, and I'm sure this has probably come up even at Stern. Like, do we need these distributors when we could sell direct and capture all those funds ourselves?
Well, when you're a big company, I get it. Logistically, I get it, right? But for a small boutique company, like I know you're helping those little distributors make a little bit of profit to keep the doors open, right? And you are helping everyone else. Let's grow pinball together. Like I get that, right? Let's just put that aside for a second, because I'm the first one that wants to grow pinball, and like I'm happy to give you something to help the next person, right? But in theory, they could have sold all 1,000 themselves very easily.
So as long as if we're in the realm of hypotheticals, sure. But if you remember, like the last 4 games were plenty available well after launch day, and I'm sure they were thankful for those distributors that they had. I mean, back in the Halcyon days of COVID, when Rick and Morty and Halloween were selling sight unseen, that was fine. But then you got the Scooby-Doo, which is still available, TCM, which is arguably their greatest game, still available, Looney Tunes still available, Evil Dead was available for 4 months, and you need that sales network. We're entering maybe the beginnings of a new era now. Maybe we're going back to COVID demand for theme integrated machines that are fairly priced. But yeah, Beetlejuice did this. But if Beetlejuice only sold 200 units direct, then you need to have that sales network as a backup. Plus, these guys have personal relationships with all these distributors too. Like they're all part of the team as well. They come in, they give feedback that's helpful. So I don't think it's as simple as just, these people are just, taking some of our sales to drop shift. What do we need them for? Like there's a whole, these are the people that are bringing games to shows, bringing other games to shows, bringing in new customers and things too. So,
well, look, I'm glad you said that, right? Because I wanted you to say it, because I didn't want it to seem like I was leading you into that. Because again, that's another one of the couple questions and points I've seen online where people were criticizing, well, like people can get on lists because the distributors have got their best customers and their chummy friends. How am I going to get the list? It's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, hold on. It's very easy to say, well, Spooky could just sell and then manage it all, right? And you could even manage these assholes, and I will call you an asshole because I'm going to say you're an asshole, right? These assholes that are getting a Beetlejuice, right? And these assholes are selling their spot for $10,000, right? Just because they wanted to make money, and a genuine person who's a big Beetlejuice fanatic is missing out, right? Some will argue that is more manageable and controllable if it was just going through, I've heard of dealers that are taking a lick of $500 for passing on my spot that you've sold for 10 grand to the next person, right? I think that's a dick move, but I don't think you should be able to on-sell a game until you own it personally, but that's a topic for another day. So I'm glad you said what you said, because I think business relationships, networking, distributors buy stock. So, I know it's not sold, it's sold through type of thing. But they're all valid points, right? And I think people need to understand that you need that network, because when times are tough, they're going to buy stock off you. And yes, some will say that the gentleman from Automated, which I don't remember his name, and I apologize, I should remember his name. I think it's Mike. I could be wrong. Mike from Automated. I kind of have it embedded in my head.
Yeah.
I have it embedded in my head because I think Kaneda says it nearly every episode. So like it's like Mike from Automated. So Paul Mike has got like I remember Kaneda did a tour, right? Mike's got like 100 games in his loft. Like, and this is the part that people forget. People forget that distributors are having to buy stock. In some instances, are forced to buy stock to keep these agreements in place, not mentioning companies. But, and they just sit there in a loft because the market's quiet and they got to keep buying games.
I could see being legitimately upset if a distributor was, had a small group of friends they were working with and each of them got 10 games to go and flip or something, and there was like some kind of organized cabal. Like that would be a problem. It would be a problem if a distributor, got an allotment of 50 games, sold 40 of them and kept the other 10 in a storage locker. And then, all of a sudden came up with gently used games later, that would be a problem.
Later. Yeah.
So as long as it's, this person's flipping their game, but each person on the list was entitled to only one purchase, and then it's their game to choose to do with, they can take the cash now. What they're not going to have is that game later,
Yeah, look, I just thought it was an interesting point, but I was like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Fuck it. I do think you're an asshole if you buy a game that someone genuinely missed out on, and then you flip it for. I heard there's a guy here in Australia apparently sold his spot for 10 grand.
That's crazy. Now that isn't in dollar dues, but still,
that's Aussie dollar dues. Oh, I don't know what's that. That's like what is it?
Well, now are you smart for playing the short sale game, right? And you get this deposit, immediately sell it, pocket the 3 to whatever grand profit, and then 6 months later, when games are being delivered, and maybe you can purchase it back for 12 grand, and then you still made $1,000 in the meantime. You still
that person's not purchasing that game back. If you sold that game for 10 grand, you're a dick. Like it just you don't even sold the game, you sold the spot. Like you've sold thin air for 10 grand, mate. You're a dick. I'm sorry. Hate on me all you want, but like it's just not something that I am going to sit here and not condone. And to be honest, if I had my way, I'd manage it. I'd be like, okay, serial numbers registered to the person's name, and if you sell your spot, you don't have warranty. You can sell the game after 6 months, right, or after 3 months or something. If you sell it before that because you want to pocket money, you don't get warranty. Sorry. That's how I would do it. I'll probably get criticized.
We've seen companies approach this different ways too. I mean, Barrels of Fun, if you bought direct, you're not allowed to transfer your deposit. You need to go through with the sale first, take delivery of the game, then you can sell it. And for them, that's the answer. I guess we'll have to see how it shakes out. But I would say if you were on a list like you were supposed to be, this wouldn't be a problem affecting you.
That's it. 100%. Let's talk about the topper, because I can't believe we've completely missed that topper. Now you said it. I want to say probably 6 months ago that this topper is like legit animatronic, 10 times scarier than the other one, and I was kind of going, how much scarier can it really get, or how much more crazy could it get? I don't know if you said scary. I think you may have said crazy. Anyway, I tell you what, it is creepy as hell. Like, it is creepy as hell, and it's impressive. Like the detail in the painting and the sculpting, and even Bug had said that the movie studio had said, "Are you sure you can make 1,000 of these and get them consistent?"
Right. Yeah,
right. But the blinking eyes, the moving, and a lot of people didn't realize that to get Spooky Speak, which is obviously the talking part, which we'll talk in a second, you need the topper. Some people thought that was a bit of an odd move, but I was like, well, hold on a second. Evil Dead was 888 games. They sold 800 toppers. Like, everyone's buying a topper, right? So very rarely. And, okay, maybe if someone hasn't got the height in the loft or you can't afford it, that you're going to miss out on Spooky Speak, you're not losing out on much. I mean, the talking to the machine is fantastic. I understand that you can, ask it who its favorite podcaster is, and it's probably going to turn around and say it's Don. But
I wish that'd be. I'm gonna recommend that now.
Look, I'm sure there's Easter eggs and things that you can talk to this game. But look, I love the idea of this Spooky Speak. I think it's another. I've always been an ambassador for introducing a different dimension. Like I'd love to see more things like the whirlwind fan, right? Just chuck a smoke machine in my face, like when you
That game
blow up
was
the Death
great.
Star.
Blew a fan in my face. Like I remember as a
Yeah.
kid, like, I wanted to play that because that one had a fan. It was awesome.
Yep. Yep. Like I'm a bit like I'd love to see a game with like smoke coming from under the cabinet, like just a smoke machine from under the cabinet. Like if it's I don't know, Casper the
Or a
Friendly
haptic
Ghost.
feedback vest so you could feel the pop bumper hits.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on a floor mat for that actually, but that's a story for another day.
All right.
But you know, I'm a huge fan for any more kind of elements of me getting involved or the machine involving me. So I think the Spooky Speak was fantastic. The topper is sensational. It's tall. It looks taller. How much taller is it than the Evil Dead topper?
Same height.
It's the same height.
Mhm. Now the hair on the head does exceed the height, but I mean that'll rub against the ceiling.
Well, I guess that the Spooky topper is kind of rectangular, the whole thing, right? Whereas this is what makes it
the cellar
longer.
door
Probably
doesn't
the
lift
neck.
up all the way. So if you take the full height of that cellar door through its motion, this one's the same height.
Yeah, and I guess the snake's head is, or the body is making it look taller because there's nothing else in the way.
Right.
It is literally just his erect head.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
You
gonna
know.
command attention walking into a room with his glowing eyes staring at you and his light up rattle right there.
Yeah, I keep looking at it every time it pops up, right? And it's like in my history on YouTube, and it's fucking these two like beady eyes, right, just staring at me, and I'm like, man, that's even creepy for me, and I'm 41 years old.
Yeah.
So I can imagine Retro Ralph when he has one, he's going to have to put like a blanket over the head of this bloody snake Beetlejuice to hide it from his kids. But yeah, like it's just, you know, again, knocked it out of the park. I don't think we missed anything. We've covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's about it. It's a comprehensive game.
Yeah, we touched on everything. We're on the hour, which is normally what I like to do. Was there anything that you do differently for your launch party? Chicken treat next time, maybe?
Oh my god, yeah. We need to have an extra building or something because I want to bring like 3 times the people next time. It was so much fun. We need a band. We need even more food. I'm thinking of, like set up an exterior tent.
So I was thinking about this, right? And I'm like, how do you do this in a way? And me and you spoke about this a few weeks ago because, you know, it's like, you know, the thing with emailing in, like you said, some people's emails might not work. Some go to spam. And I can understand people getting, you know, like, oh, how do we know that my thing went through? Sure. I think your idea was cool where you said that you can send in like a postcard or something and then it just goes into the drawer and then we just live draw it and pull everyone's postcard out, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea because it gives everyone like a month to get their postcard in. Now you're relying on the fact that the postcard gets delivered. That's another.
You can send your card with tracking and shipping confirmation.
Well, I had a better idea.
Oh, yeah.
Why not just do like, I don't know, do you guys have Eventbrite in America?
A what?
Eventbrite. It's like a ticketing system.
Oh,
like
yeah.
A website.
Yeah.
Right? So basically you can charge $0. It's even if you, let's say you're a business and you're holding an event, right? And you just want numbers and people to RSVP, they go on, they register their name, they got to put their full fucking details in. And then we just had a VIP night at work and I used a system like that to get my numbers. So I knew how much I should cater for, right? Now the downside with that is that you might get 40 RSVPs and only 30 rock up.
Mm-hmm.
For a game launch, I'm very unlikely people aren't rocking up, right? Unless they're like dying or they've got gastro or something. So your strike rate is going to be much better than my VIP night at the store. So I thought that is a good way of doing it because that guarantees, because people get an email back saying that they got a ticket, right? You know that they've got a ticket, and then you literally can print out Eventbrite tickets and chuck them in a barrel.
I love that.
That's just my suggestion,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's my suggestion. But it's a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
What you said is fantastic because I think it gives people a month. It makes it fair. You can get thousands of people to enter, and then it just becomes like a lottery, right? It's just a lottery. And even, to be honest, man, even the 70 people that, let's say the next game Spooky do, they keep 100 for themselves, right? I think you register. Instead of people trying to ring the phones and the phones fucking crash and, you know, Morgan's only got 2 hands and like she's like picking up the phones and maybe a lottery. Maybe register. You're interested by the game. You know?
I
Don't
mean,
know.
so to use my theme park analogy or an analogous situation, when Disney opens a brand new ride or Universal opens a brand new ride and they know there's going to be 6-hour lines of people waiting to get through,
Yeah.
they at 7 a.m. they will have a virtual queuing system where everybody registers, goes online at the same time, and then are assigned a boarding group. And once they're all
There you
assigned,
go.
they're gone, and then you at least
Yep.
you know right away you're in, you're out.
Yep. No, look, I think it's great. And I think for the next one, like you said, get a marquee. Let's get a pop-up carnival, maybe, like a little mini roller coaster.
Oh man,
We'll get some chicken treat catering.
I'm here for it.
Like, what's the equivalent to chicken treat in America? You've got to have something similar.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Kenny Rogers Roasters. We don't have that anymore.
Oh yeah, Kenny Rogers. True.
No
Yeah.
one here is frying pineapple, so I don't think we have a now.
Really? There's
Yeah.
no one in America frying pineapple. You guys fry everything.
I know. We fry cheese curds and put them on burgers.
You guys fry Mars bars, don't you?
I mean, at carnivals, yeah. So
Yeah.
we need a carnival fast food. Maybe Culver's.
What I think you should do, Don, is you should go to next time you're at Disney, Florida, right? Take a little cart, fry some pineapple, and give it a shot. Sell some, see what people think.
Perfect. I will get banned from Disney property, I'm sure. We'll do
You
it.
can get those little countertop camping oil deep fry things.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. We'll make it happen.
Right. Okay. So look, it's safe to say everyone that went to your event was extremely happy with it. I've seen Sterling comment. I saw obviously Kerry was there. Everyone said they had a blast.
Yeah.
And man, you're the host with the most. Everyone knows that if anyone has to host a party, it's Don. You're definitely the host with the most. So I'm glad it all went well for you, and I'm sure that you'll wear that guide hat once more in the future. Sorry, not once more. Again in the future.
Let's bring it.
I'm pretty sure you've got guide tattooed under that fucking beanie.
I mean, it's coming. It's coming. I gotta cover up the Drake tattoo that I have on my forehead. But yeah.
So yeah, look. Also, anything else you want to say before we finish up?
No, I want to go get a pizza.
Go get a pizza for breakfast? Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
That's dedication. Why not? All right. Well,
I guess,
on that note,
I guess like and follow and listen to my content.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to plug Don's Pinball Podcast. It's amazing how many people don't even know Don. Like on our people like, oh, who's Don? If you don't know who Don is, you're not living, right? So Don's Pinball Podcast, like and subscribe. He's got Patreon. So Patreon donations are fantastic because it does help run the channel. And, Don always gives back with prizes and translights and, all crazy stuff and 3D printing shit and all that type of thing. Actually, I haven't seen any 3D toys from you in a while.
I got a new one to launch. I've just been lazy.
Hey, at least you're honest. But please head over to Don, like and subscribe. And he's also got WOP. And it's not the WOP you're thinking of. It's We Are Pinball with our boy Chengus. And head over to that. I don't know how you keep up, man. I'm barely struggling to keep up with my life, let alone podcasting. And you got fucking multiple podcasts.
This is the pinball world, man. We're living it.
There you go. Anyway, like and subscribe. Hit that horn for me because we haven't heard that horn yet. Oh, I heard it nearly. The other one, my favorite one.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
Like and subscribe.
In this house.
Night.